How's it going, guys? It's CJ Bakle here with Tigers Talk Rugby. And before we get started, I just want to say thank you to Tiger Vision for providing us the facilities and the equipment to make everything possible. Couldn't do it without them. So, again, I'm CJ Bakle, and currently Ethan is ill. So we have guest host Hunter Dawsey.
I'm very excited to be here. I had a great time last week, and glad that I got asked to be a guest host this weekend.
Yeah, so fantastic.
Yeah.
And then we have our two guests. We have Pirochta from the women's team. She's the former captain and a fourth-year player. So, welcome, Marie.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
And then alongside her is Henning. She's currently the president of the women's team and also a fourth-year player.
Yes, thank you for having me as well.
So, might as well get started. So,
Yeah, let's get started.
So let's first talk about how did you guys get introduced to rugby? So, Marie?
So I came to college and I knew I wanted to play a sport. So I got a flyer from Rugby 101. I was like, I didn't even know women could play rugby. And then I got a flyer from Ultimate Frisbee. And so I went to both tryouts and I kind of met all the people. And I just fell in love with the sport and the people. It's just like such a welcoming environment. I felt really comfortable. I've been playing ever since.
Right, I think so as well. How'd you like Ultimate Frisbee though? Did you enjoy that, or did you have fun with it? How many times did you go out for Ultimate Frisbee?
I think I might have gone twice. It was pretty fun. Definitely no contact. So.
Right, a little bit different. So Frisbee.
A little safer.
Yeah, a little safer. Less injuries.
That's fun. I have a couple friends that do a little bit of Ultimate Frisbee. I play with them sometimes.
Did you play anything in high school?
Yeah, so I played lacrosse my last 2 years, which I would have done that here. The team's actually really good. So I don't think I could make it. And I ran cross country. So
Awesome.
A little bit of track, but cross country.
No, I think lacrosse is a good, crossover for rugby because we always say, rugby's kind of like soccer or whatever.
Yeah.
So, and lacrosse is kind of like soccer. So it's great to be able to play those kinds of sports where you have to look for space.
Right.
So I think I'm guessing that was a good crossover introduction almost.
I'd say yes. So it's different than men's lacrosse. I don't know how much you guys know about it.
Yeah.
Men's lacrosse is a lot more contact.
Right.
I think it'd be a lot more fun.
A lot of yelling.
I kind of wish that women's lacrosse is almost a different sport.
Yeah.
And I wish
Right.
that we could have played by the men's rules.
Just a little bit more contact.
Yeah.
It's a little bit slower, but I also had a friend who was really good in high school. She plays at Queens now.
So, when you first started playing, I'm guessing you had a little, rough patch. But when did you remember things started to click for you in rugby?
So I'd probably have to say my first game, I really didn't know what I was doing.
What position did you have, or were you for your first game?
I played flanker, which I feel like is the most if you really don't know what you're doing. It's just
I think
that or
yeah,
win.
that's usually when you have a kid who comes to practice has no clue what they're doing, just put him out of the way.
Yeah.
He'll just sit out there, probably
Catch
get the ball
it and
once or
run.
twice.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. It probably didn't click for at least a couple months though. But I do remember there was one game where I was watching on the sideline. I'd never started a game. And I was watching and I was like, what are these flankers doing? That's not right. I was like, I think I might be able to do that better. And I was like, coach, put me in. And then it just kind of made sense.
Right. That's awesome. What about you, Kim? What got you into rugby?
So I never played any sports before I started rugby. I came to college, I had just left the gym and I was walking by practice and Effie, she was one of our players, she graduated, was standing there and she ran up to me and she was like, do you know what rugby is? I was like, I have no idea what this is. And she was like, do you want to play? And I was like, well, I don't know what it is. And she's like, okay, well, you're already in gear. She's like, do you want to just come try it? And it was we were doing 1v1s, warming up shoulders. And she said that she knew I was going to be a fit because I just went 100% immediately. I don't remember, I don't remember it. But she was like, yeah, she's like, I thought you were going to knock me down. And I was like, oh. I was like, okay, yeah,
From
sure.
the start,
that's
giving
a lot of fun.
110%.
Always.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of I literally walked into it.
Yeah, that is walking into it, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
So
yeah,
when did I'm guessing you also had that like rough patch of trying to get like understanding it.
Yes.
Because I mean, like you literally went from having like no sport,
no
any
guidance.
background, just
Going to the
straight
gym,
into it.
headed home. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
what's
rugby
this?
player.
Oh, rugby? Oh, it's like football without pads.
You guys are nice.
That's exactly how it happened. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. And then like it was like the next practice I went to, the first like real practice was at dog conditioning and my birthday, and I died. Like dog workouts are the hardest workouts. But I definitely the rough patch for me was, so I'm a lock, and they started me as lock. They were like, all right, you're too tall to be anywhere else. Like you just have to go there. And I was like, okay. And I could not figure it out. So they didn't start me ever until the next semester. So I was like benched on JV for a good while. When I would play, they'd be like, Kim, you just have to run. Like you just have to get the ball. Like I didn't understand like my own strength. I didn't like realize I was big. I didn't realize that like when I go out there, I can make an impact. And I didn't know it yet. I didn't know my own size.
Wow. That's super cool. Yeah.
So lock. Are you currently playing lock from now on, or from that point on? Or are you
From
like,
that point, I've been mixed around. I've played
You've been
flank. I've
mixed.
played eight. Like I've played anything but front row. Basically, they threw me in the back line one time, and I was like, big mistake.
the designated athlete on the team?
I was like,
Not gonna happen today.
no, thank you. They put me at like outside center, and I was like, this is incorrect.
No, so back in high school, there was like one team, or we were just playing a game, we were winning by 60 points, and all of a sudden my coach goes, CJ, how do you think about playing fullback? I was like, because I'm probably the same size as I was in high school. So I was still like 240, 250 back in high school playing, fullback. It's insane. But it was fun, I guess.
Yeah, you can mix
couldn't-
it up in high school.
Yeah, no, high school's a mix-up thing. But I couldn't do what Dawsey does. I'm nowhere left.
There's a lot of running out in the back line, that's for sure.
I also feel like they need to be able to kick.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Definitely
Definitely can do that.
Yeah. Kicking's an easy thing to work on. You can always just drop a ball on your foot. So swing it. So but what do you think's unique about rugby? What kind of interests you the most, kept you in it the most?
I'd say it's the fact that like anyone can play. Like it doesn't matter like how big or small you are. Like we have someone on our team that's like barely 5 foot, and then I'm like 5'9", like pushing it. And it's anyone can play. You can be big or small, and like no matter what you do, you can have an impact.
Right.
And so I think it's pretty cool.
That's what I loved about it too. Just when I went out and I was able to see that the big boys were just as likely to score a try as I was. I thought that was so cool because I grew up playing football and had best friends who were linemen, and like one time caught an interception that tipped off somebody's helmet and then landed in their hands, and they thought that was the coolest moment ever when they can come to play rugby and score a try every game. So I thought that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's like, because I felt that way, playing offensive line,
Right.
Like my entire life, never got to touch a ball. And then when I was saying like the story last week, when they finally like passed to me in my first ever game, I was like, what?
Oh my gosh.
Like, I was taken aback. I was like, I can run? Like, are you kidding? So I just like, just ran forward, and it was a lot of fun from that point.
Right.
You gotta love a big boy try.
Yeah.
Those are the
right.
best. Those
Yeah.
are my
I
favorite.
still haven't
Big
scored
boy
one in my
tries.
Clemson career.
Still?
So.
We got you this year.
This semester.
No, I've already said, this is the year.
Right. This Friday.
Leading
This
the
Friday.
team. I'm going to lead the team.
Yeah, CJ's leading the
That's
team in
right.
tries.
Yeah, right. What about you, Marie? What do you think is like so unique?
Probably for me, one of like the biggest things that our Coach Marty says is 15 is one. And I feel like there's some sports where you can have one person who's like a superstar and then you can be a really good team, but rugby is such a team sport that you need to rely on everybody. Like you can't take the ball alone. It's going to be a turnover. You need somebody to be there with you. I think that's it makes like such a family, like tight-knit environment.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's really rugby family.
Yeah, right.
That's
Like
what I
fosters
agree.
it for sure.
Yeah.
I think I agree with that like wholeheartedly. Like 15 is one. It doesn't matter like you have any beef with like a teammate. Like
Right.
on
They
the
have to come
field,
support you. Yeah.
it's gone. Yeah.
Right.
On the field, like you're doing it. Like you look after everyone else like you would want them to look after you, like on the field.
Right.
And that like reflects off the field too.
I also I know it sounds weird, but I feel as if that maybe not just 15 is one. It could be like 30 as one.
Right. Yeah.
Because you also have like that mutual respect with the other team.
Yeah.
So
That's
like,
true, too,
hey
yeah.
guys, again, it's not football. We don't have pads on, so let's not try and murder each other on the field.
Right.
you gotta have that like mutual respect to, you know, not pick up somebody and then just throw them
and hurt them, because you could hurt them, and you could definitely hurt them in this sport. And so, yeah, that's one thing that I found interesting when I first got to it as well. And what I always tell people now is when people are like, "Don't you guys play without pads on? Like, what? Are you guys crazy?" And I'm like, "Well, the person running at you doesn't have pads on, just the same as you tackling doesn't have. You don't have pads on, so you can't just duck your head and pick your knees up like a running back can in football, because you're gonna break your neck or something.
It's gonna hurt.
It's gonna suck.
So you'll only do it once, but
yeah, I know. Like again, whenever we recruit, you know, at like Tiger Prowl, everybody comes up and is like, rugby, you guys must be crazy for playing that. Like, don't you have to be huge or like, you got to be somewhat crazy because you know you're not playing without pads. And it's like, yeah, I mean, you kind of learn how to
protect yourself.
You like, protect yourself and the other person.
Really?
Yeah.
Like there's. And it seems like every single year there's always another rule that always has like some kind of like protection. So like this year with the new scrum rule where you can't like touch heads or like touch shoulders before you can actually engage. Like you remember like, I mean, as a front row, like you in the past it was like easy to just like touch heads and then like, you know, give them a little like boost or a little headbutt like as you're going in. But nowadays they're like, no, you cannot touch whatsoever. You know, you can't do that, and then you can. Or like as soon as like set is called, then you can actually engage. So like stuff like that. Like you don't want to, you know, when you know guys are headbutting each other, or like putting your head on their shoulder. It's like
people used to headbutt for position as hookers, and I was like, when I first heard that, I was like, that is the craziest thing. It's people just busting eyebrows so that they can get the best head position as a hooker, but. What do you think about that new rule? I honestly didn't hear anything about it until our scrimmage yesterday when we were playing each other.
I don't mind. I remember playing Navy last year, and the hooker against me, he would always do the headbutt. It's like, all right, I might have a concussion after this day just because of that, dude. I might not be able to go to class on Monday, but that's fine. But yeah,
I thought it was interesting, and I think it is helpful because I never really liked that. Because if I was playing hooker, I wouldn't want to be trying to headbutt for my position.
I also started playing back when you'd literally go from, you know, a standing or like from a standing you'd crouch and then literally just smack each other. Like there's no crouch bind set. It's just like, you know, you just crouch, engage, you know.
That's rough.
Oh.
Man. I would say, I don't know.
I've never been in the pack like that. Go ahead.
Yeah, like now, like I don't do front row. Like the only time I ever prop is sevens. Like that's the only time ever, and it's completely different. Yeah, like you don't really scrum, but then in 15s, like being second row, like if your props aren't set, like and if there's like an issue, like if they're hitting, like you can tell when your prop's uncomfortable. Like you can, like I'm always on the left side, and like the person that's always propping for me, like I always know, like I can tell when something's not right, and. I couldn't even imagine. If someone tried to headbutt me in a game, I would probably get kicked out. I would swing in a heartbeat.
No, again, it's like you have to have some mutual respect with that. Because like some of those guys that we play against, sometimes they're just going to be they're going to make you uncomfortable.
That's the
part
goal,
of it. They're trying to make you uncomfortable, but when they headbutt you, it's like, that's annoying.
Yeah.
Why you got to do this to me?
And hurts.
I mean, there is that other rule. I don't know if you watched the game. I think it was the All Blacks, where like hitting players in the air, they started calling it.
They red carded that.
Pass.
Right.
No,
like a pass, not like a kick.
Are you serious?
Oh, interesting.
And I was like, I didn't know.
So wait, what? Like somebody was like running and they passed it, and then some guy like was jumping up for it.
Jumped to catch it, and the guy tackled him in the air, and the ref called it.
Well, if he jumped.
That's what. Yeah, Reed. The person who made the tackle got a card.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Reed did that in Vegas, I think it was, against JMU, and we went down a man in sevens because Reed was we were blitzing, and they were on their back line. We were blitzing to go and make the hit, make the tackle, and get hopefully win the ball and get in the try zone. But the guy throws it over almost above the guy. And Reed is already committed to smacking this guy, and the guy ended up in the air because he caught it, and Reed got a card for tackling in the air.
I'm just surprised because I didn't realize it went so far as to passing where they would call it.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware.
Yeah, because like I understand the kicking, like kickoffs. You know, the infamous Navy J. You know, Jason Henderson red card.
First kickoff ever comes on the field. and just takes this guy out.
Yeah, it takes him out straight from his legs, gets a red card.
Yeah, maybe Jay wasn't playing for 5 seconds.
So, I mean, like, I understand that, but that's weird. Like, I've never, ever seen that before.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we were all shocked. I didn't really understand the call either. I was like, it's a clean hit. He went down, he hit him, but he didn't, take him, like, maliciously out of the air. He hit him.
He committed. Like,
right.
If you've committed, that's a
right. He would have hit him. He would have made the same hit if he was not in the air, not in the air.
Yeah.
To me. So, and the guy was fine. But yeah, so I think we can move on a little bit. What are some of the club's goals this season? What are you guys looking to get into?
So we've hit kind of a rough patch, simply because the new rules from Clemson and
sure.
allocation.
Oh, yeah.
We've hit it as well.
Our budget was cut by like a ridiculous amount. So now it's much more difficult for us to travel. And we moved up to the higher division where we are playing like D1. Basically
awesome.
all the ACC like teams that you would see, even though we're not ACC, whatever. We still you're finding issues like having to travel and afford that, and like wanting to play at a higher level, but then being restricted. It's not fun. And so that's like our goals for the season is to hopefully overcome that. So we're doing a lot of things like fundraising and like trying to get our alumni involved and having a lot of just events where we can like bring awareness to rugby, and rugby exists and rugby is here on this campus and that we are a rugby school.
Right.
And so like our goals for this club is to like bring awareness, and I guess physically we want to win, but we had a lot of our seniors that graduated were forwards. And so for the first time, I think in like 15, 20 years, our team is now very back heavy. And we have like 2 returners to the pack right now. And so, yeah.
Wow, that's got to be a lot of learning, like these first few weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, like a complete new front row. And then that's where like right now we don't know, like I might end up starting lock, but I might have to flank.
Right.
Like, I think at this point we're going to be like, well, we can afford to lose the scrum as long as we don't lose the tackles. Like I think that's what we're trying to like mediate.
That's good.
For like the long term,
good
I
plan.
think.
Right.
What do you think, Marie?
Yeah. I mean, also our goal is just like Marty said too, like go 3-3 still. Like I mean, that's not unrealistic.
Yeah.
Right.
Maintain. Kind
Like you said, yeah, I think the scrum is going to be our biggest challenge. Having so many new players.
Do you guys have enough size in the scrum, or just kind of new?
I'm like the biggest person,
Right.
like tall and wide, and I'm not even like that big.
Yeah.
Right.
We really had some key players.
Yeah.
Some of the
Graduate.
girls.
Yeah.
So
We had experience, which was really nice. Like everyone that had graduated had played like the whole time. We all got recruited 3
Right.
years ago, and then we all played together. The chemistry was like A1, and now it's like we just have to rebuild it. Like it's not
Right.
impossible. It's gonna
sure,
happen.
definitely.
We're gonna have a
That's
great
the goal.
team. It's just motivating them to stay with it, because that's a hard part too with like rugby, is to keep players, because it is a very physical sport, and you have to give 110% if you want to like achieve anything with it.
Yeah.
So everyone together has to be in the same mindset and headspace.
And another goal, I think, because we do have a solid core of veterans returning, is that I think we can do pretty well in the 7th season. So I think our goal, I think Coach Marty was talking about a tournament.
7 seasons.
So I think that we, as a team, I think we'll perform a little better in the 7th season. So
Yeah, I mean, 7s is like, again, an entirely different
Yeah.
game to 15. So, you could, like again, 15s, it's a lot more, rough and physical, whereas 7s, it's like totally different game. You have to play for space and everything like that. But I guess that's like, again, it's not that much of an issue because you only have 7 people on the field when you have at least like 7 like really experienced players, and you could put out like a
exactly.
Insane
Solid 7
side.
team.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I know like last year for us in 15s we had some success, but then again we went going into 7th season it was I wouldn't say it was totally different team, but like everybody seemed like a little bit more confident in themselves.
There's a full and one thing that we kind of talked a lot about was like last year there wasn't 25, 33 guys buying into the 15 seasons, but there was 20 guys, 22 guys that bought into the 7th season, and that's a full side and a half. So I think 7s is a lot of fun, and we're building the culture again on our side, especially in 15s, to build a 40-man roster that loves playing 15s and that wants to come out and be committed. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, and like, was it last night, yesterday? Max Paz, like he was saying, he never played sevens in his life, and then now he's big sevens guy.
Yeah.
He's always been saying that. You know,
Max is a big sevens guy. I love Max on the field in sevens. Max is always never afraid to make a tackle. He's tough to go around. So
It's important in sevens. You got to make those tackles.
yeah.
Where in 15s, like you most likely have someone that can like help you out. But in sevens, you are on there alone.
Yeah, that is true. You guys have talked a little bit about players that have left. You guys have any players that you're excited to keep playing with, still play with, that you think is going to be a lot better this year? Or?
Yeah, I think so. Our back line is pretty solid. So we have Lala, who she's one of the people who's like 5 foot, I think, 5'1" maybe. She's probably gonna hear this and be mad at me. I forgot how tall she is. But she is tiny, but she is the fastest person on the team. Like
she's got some wheels.
She's got some serious wheels. Like she wanted to do track and field and then just never got around to it. Like has like college like running like scores or whatever. Can run a 40 and something ridiculous.
Really?
Yeah, and so instead she's like, well, rugby, and she makes her tackles. She gets the long runs. I think in Vegas alone she scored 7 tries like in one day.
She was killing it.
Yeah, and like really, really saved us there, and that's why we did well, performed well in Vegas for sevens. So like Lala AP, she's one of our centers. I think she's actually doing fly half this season. I think we're gonna move her just because she's got great decision making skills. She just knows where it needs to go, how it needs to go, and she's the first one to commit like to a rock or a tackle, and she takes care of herself and everyone else.
Like she's got the instincts to do it, which is that's hard to sometimes find, you know, because like you go throughout your season, it's like, okay, you have a set 10, and then all of a sudden you see one guy's like, oh, you know, he's able to distribute, or she's able to, you know, be able to find those key passes really easily. So with Tom last year, you know,
I'm excited to have Tom back.
Yeah,
he's good.
Yeah,
he he was a rookie last year. He never really played until the spring.
Yeah,
and I think it was his first game against Davenport in the freezing cold.
Yeah, I believe.
And he made a couple key passes, and it's like,
yeah, a couple nice tackles.
Maybe we got to do 10. And it's
yeah.
It's like you gotta. It's hard to find that.
Right. That's super cool to hear that player, you know, is still here. That a decision maker. That it's a lot easier to kind of put that person there that already knows what to do than kind of to breed a decision maker.
100%. That's why I'm also excited that Marie will be playing.
Yeah.
Marie's a very big key player on and off the field. She keeps us going. Look at her. She's shaking her head right now, but she really is, though. She's
an animal.
A good decision maker right here. She knows where it's got to go. She always ends up going to 9 as a flanker.
Yeah.
We have to put her there.
It was rough, you know, last year with your injury. It was like, that was rough to, you know, not be able to see you on that field, because we come and watch y'all's games, and like, you know, everybody knows, I mean, at least everybody on our team knows you pretty well. And it's like, oh, we're, you know, here to see Marie, or like we love seeing like you guys play. So that was like rough seeing like your injury last year. How like coming into this season, how you feel like mentally at least?
Honestly, it was pretty tough. I mean, there was a point where I was thinking, I was like, do I want to come back? I was like, is it worth it? Like, what if I get hurt again? And I was like, and then I like picked up a rugby ball. I was like, I just love the sport so much. Like, it's worth it. Like, not that I want to get injured again, but like, it's just, it's hard to like stay away from it. It's kind of addicting.
I would agree. Yeah.
The adrenaline.
The adrenaline.
What are some goals that you have for yourself this coming back?
Obviously strengthen my legs still. But personally, so another thing, I keep bringing up Marty, but Coach Marty, he wants us to start implementing some team-led practices or player-led practices, and he'll still be there.
Right.
But I think Kim and I are probably going to be some of...
That's awesome.
Yeah, like just organize, like he's going to come up with like still like practice plans, but we're going to run it. It's going to be feedback from us and other players who know what they're talking about. And Marty will be there to give us pointers and say what he wants to say. So, but I think that I really want to improve my communication skills, and I want to become like, you can always be a better leader. Like you can't be too good.
Right.
Yeah, once you like reach your best, like that's where you have to like work extra hard to, stay the best.
Right.
Like, that's what the All Blacks say all the time.
Yeah. For
Exactly.
sure.
So yeah.
What about you, Kim? You got any personal goals or anything like that?
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm in the same boat. Like me and Maria are like the two like senior players like showing up now, and I'm already the president, so I've already got that level of leadership that I have to maintain, and it's hard. That's one thing a lot of people don't really get. I think when you go into it is like having to organize a whole team because this is student ran. Like Marty, I pay him, so his paychecks come from my checkbook, and so it's just different having to organize everything. And my biggest goal is just like not to let the team down because it's hard. We've had Kennedy last year, fantastic president, did everything that she had to do in time and had everything organized before anyone else even knew that she was doing it. We had no idea. And we've just had like a long string of like very successful presidents. So I just want to basically make sure that I keep that up and don't ruin it for everybody and keep our team afloat even with
It's a good goal.
all the
Yeah, it's a good thing to stand behind.
Yeah, so I'm like, not ruin the team. That's my whole personal goal here.
Who are you guys most excited to play this year?
Yeah, tell us a little bit about your schedule.
Yeah, let's hear about the
more
schedule.
about it.
I think I'm excited to play the Greenville Grizzlies because I've played with them for
That's
2
always
summers.
fun.
All right.
So I played sevens with them last summer, and so I knew the player because we played them last year for homecoming too. And I knew the people I was playing against, and it's always really fun to have a really good like conversation between the other team when you're on the field like playing.
Right.
And it's the same thing like this year. Like my roommate is actually playing on the team, and so it's gonna be really funny to play against them. It's gonna be great.
It's always fun to line up some friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's my best friend, so it's
Did
gonna
you
be
guys play
hilarious.
Greenville last year at the Upper IMs?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that
Yes.
game.
It was a rough
'cause
game.
It was a night game. I think it was like, I can't remember when. For some reason, I think it was like maybe like December or January because
Yeah, it was
cold.
chilly and dark and
Yeah.
It was whenever Clemson's homecoming game was, so probably like October.
October.
Yeah.
All right, then never mind.
I remember that game
Totally
because
forget
I got
the
this like
timing then.
bursa like on my elbow.
Yeah.
Like I had like just fallen on the ground like several times on it, and it was like this big,
Oh
and
my
it looked
gosh.
like I had broken my elbow, but it was just like I could
not.
move it. It was humongous. It was
Wow.
huge, and I just remember that game because I was like, oh, I was like, did I break it? And then I was like moving it. And
Was
I
that
was
just
like,
like
no.
from falling down, or did you get hit?
Just like catching myself on my elbow. Like I just for some reason kept doing. I don't know why.
Yeah, the one thing about rugby in America that I probably hate the most is playing on some strange fields.
yeah,
Yeah.
sand with holes and stuff.
Like
Yes.
back in high school, there was
I bet.
one, like high school rugby is like probably the worst when it comes to that.
Mm-hmm.
There was one game, it was Bishop England versus Wando, and we were playing at like this, like on the side field of a middle school, and there was like concrete in the middle of the field, and it's like, I'm glad.
Yeah, they're like, run around this spot.
Yeah, let's
This is
try
in the middle
not
of
to
the
get
field.
tackled there.
Oh my god.
And I remember Joe Schmidt, like former player for the men's team.
Josef Schmidt.
Yeah, he tackled me on that like concrete patch, and my entire side of my body was just scraped up. I think I still have scars from when Joe tackled me. I tell him that to this day. It's like, you really messed me up that one time.
That one time.
Well, I mean, that's like the field, like where I got hurt at NC State. We were at their field, and I looked up. I was like, this field is terrible. Like before the game even started, there was like holes everywhere, like you said, like the sand, the grass.
Right. Yeah.
And like I think we had like 6 twisted ankles
Ugh.
Oh,
and my leg.
Yeah.
And I was like, I
This is
don't
not
think this
good,
is our
guys.
fault.
this is definitely not a safe field.
There's like College of Charleston. They like did not mow their field, and so it was literally like
Just
8
going through
inches
the
tall,
jungle?
going through the jungle trying to run through. And every time you'd get tackled, it was like right into like a briar patch.
Oh
So I
my
remember after
gosh.
that game, I was like picking like briars out of my hair, like off my clothes.
Oh my gosh.
We've played on some very suspect fields, very suspect.
Yeah.
Well, what about like the best one that you've ever played on? Because I remember, I think it was with you guys that there was one Instagram photo that it was like in the middle of a quad somewhere. I can't remember.
UVA.
Yeah,
It was
UVA.
cool.
Yeah, that looked like it was
Yes.
cool.
It was the Greek row.
Was
It
that
was-
Greek?
Oh,
It was
wow.
Greek
Yeah.
row, and they
Oh
were
my
bumping
gosh.
music while we were
We
playing.
were in like a valley.
That's a lot of fun.
And they were like drinking beer and like.
They're like, oh, what's going on
Cheering
outside?
something. Like,
Yeah.
hey, these guys are playing something.
They were.
Don't know what it is, but
wow, we might as well watch.
yeah.
They did. They sat out there and they had like horns or like honking their cars like every time we scored a try. Like, not us, definitely UVA. But like anytime something was going down, they were so excited to like watch us go out there. That was a really cool game.
That's super fun.
You guys gonna play any like stadiums or anything like that just yet?
Okay, we played. One of my favorite stories is like, you know, most games when you go out, it's not like super official. Like you just kind of go out, you split up, you do whatever. We went to Davenport. And so we go out there, and they start with this super fancy, like, announcing who we are.
Yeah.
I was like, my name has never been said on a stadium intercom in all my years of rugby.
Queens, too.
And Queens did it. But for Davenport, at halftime, they had a cheerleading squad come
Yeah,
out. And
Davenport
they were
is no joke up there.
They love their rugby.
Yeah, they love their rugby.
I mean, it's a tiny school in the middle of Michigan. You know, it's
It's like football for us.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. And a lot of schools like that kind of have a rugby program like that because they don't support a football program as much or at all.
Yeah.
So.
Like, I always say, like, Lindenwood went similar to that. Like, Lindenwood's insane. So my first ever varsity game, we went to Lindenwood my freshman year, and it's like, see, you know, they say,
Oh my gosh, this is
CJ
where
Bakle.
you
Like,
play every day?
they're leading out the bench, and it's like, okay, CJ Bakle on the bench. It's like, oh, me? Really? And, you know, they had, like, the entire student section in their stadium is huge. It's, like, almost like, it's their football stadium, but
it's a legit stadium.
Yeah, it's a legit stadium.
It is awesome. They're right in front of, like in a valley that their dining hall overlooks the glass windows and stuff. It's super cool.
That's insane. I wish. Some of the fields, like the upper IMs, like, you know, obviously they tailgate there. I know, like, there's been like once or twice where they find a piece of glass and we're just like,
Ooh.
I should sand. When you get hit in that sand patch, your legs get so scraped up.
Right.
And then you go to places like Davenport with the softest field. Their field was so soft. Like when you hit it, it's like bouncing off a pillow. And I was like, this is crazy. Like,
Yeah. The other cool place that we played was the stadium at CRC's in Philadelphia.
That is super awesome. I would honestly say that is the coolest place that I've ever played anything. That is super awesome. Overlooking the water. That is an unreal place to play.
The atmosphere. It's just like everybody's like so in love with the sport. And it's just like it's like
everybody
in
there
air.
just wants to see if their team isn't playing, everybody is just cheering for rugby, not necessarily like for a team. It's a lot of fun. It's fun to make a good play, and then the whole stadium's just like, ooh.
Yeah,
make a
really.
big hit.
Dawsey, you definitely would know that, am I right?
Oh, they were talking about your flow for like 20 minutes.
The
straight.
flow. The flow was talked
waterfall,
about
dude.
a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you made the all hair team.
Yeah.
You see that on Instagram?
Yeah,
it was
the
between
all-hair
like
team.
it was you, that one dude from, was it
Notre Dame.
St. Joe, and then like St. Joe's, the dude from Notre Dame. Was his name Neelis, like Mulville?
I'm not sure.
I think his name's like Neelis or something like that.
Neelis.
But you know, like he follows me on Instagram. I follow him on Instagram, and it's like
That was fun.
you see like all the photos beforehand. You know, he was like, you could see like he's growing it out, and then all of a sudden shaves like the sides of his
Right.
head.
See, that's something else. I've had the same haircut for 2 years. I didn't do anything but trim my hair before I went to CRC's. Like I didn't cut it into a mullet. I've had a mullet for
You've had it.
years now.
the OG mullet.
Yeah,
Starting the trend.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of mullets, and I can't.
Yeah,
man.
not a mullet.
They're rough.
Not a mullet person.
Well, I have like
Yeah.
an uncle that's like had a mullet since I was
Right, that
like
has the mullet.
The mullet, like super. He drives a truck, like everything. Everything. His name's Larry. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like he's the
Yeah.
OG. Had the mullet forever.
That's hilarious.
And so I grew up with him. And at some point, when I noticed they were coming back, I was like, oh no.
I just see Larry everywhere.
Larry everywhere I go.
That's funny.
So, who you guys playing this season? Like, what's the game by game like schedule? Do you know?
I have it pulled up.
Oh, really?
Right.
You had to remember it.
Yeah, I don't remember the dates. So first we play September 14th away. Play Coastal. But that's more of
Coastal.
a friendly.
Coastal Carolina. Not a big fan of them now.
Yeah, those people who bailed on you.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
not trying to start any beef on a podcast, but like, come on, Coastal. But,
Yeah, that was a frustrating morning yesterday morning. At 7 o'clock.
You want to play, you know?
Trying to figure out what we need to do, but we had so much fun yesterday. I'm so happy that's kind of how it ended up, and a lot of guys got to play a lot of rugby, and I think that's cool. So
That's always the point.
So
Yeah.
Coastal away, what is it, like a 5-6 hour drive?
It'll be about 5 hours. We're
Guys-
staying right on the beach, so that's gonna be real nice.
Oh, wow, nice.
Nice,
Yeah. And it's
relaxing
gonna be-
weekend.
It's going to be, so that's not this next week, but like the week after that. So no hurricane to deal with
No
either.
hurricane. We should be. Yeah.
Weather's good, hopefully.
Whether if it's not, obviously we'll play. It's a monsoon. Why not? It'll be. It's gonna be a good game, I think. And since it's gonna be a friendly, like we can teach, like having a brand new scrum, like we're gonna be like, hey, listen, our front row. If you try to be like, don't bind, blah blah blah, they might not even know what we're talking about. So,
And-
with it being a friendly, it'll be good.
And like a good thing about at least rugby in like this country is that a lot of, or at least the referees understand. Not a lot of guys or not a lot of girls know what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's you go in and they always are like trying to teach you. So some of the best referees we've had are the ones that are teaching the guys as like alongside
Right.
of playing with them.
right, letting them know what they did wrong.
So
necessarily.
like I guess like when you go to Coastal, you can always like make an agreement somehow. Like okay, this is teaching. Like we're trying to teach this. It's like
Right.
we're not gonna
I think they kind of want to really play us because we were gonna play them like before. And they've asked us to play, and they've asked us to play, and like our schedules just never allowed it. And so we were like, we were wanting this to be a round robin. It still might be. It might end up being like a round robin 15s tournament. Seeing if like the Bombshells or like some other team can come out, like the women's teams. And if it doesn't, we're gonna play a full 80 minutes with them.
Yeah.
And I know that it's gonna be friendly, but they're gonna play hard. They're gonna play very hard because they've been asking for us for years.
they've
Yeah.
been
so-
calling you
They had
guys
a
out.
game.
They've been calling. I know one thing though on the low. They lost like some of their really good players, and so I've heard through the grapevine they might be sweating it, but
Oh, we're sweating it a little too.
we're also sweating it. Yeah, it's both sides. We're both sweating.
Hey,
You
it'll
guys
be
are
a
gonna kill it.
good matchup then, right?
It'll be
Yeah,
a good game.
yeah, it'll be a good
Yes.
game.
So you guys have never played them before.
Never. No, I haven't at least. I don't know
Alright,
if
fine.
anyone else ever has.
You don't.
It could be some like some random sevens tournament maybe, but like 15s never.
They weren't at that tournament in Charleston, were they?
Winchfest?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I mean, they could have been like under a pseudonym,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
Yeah. No, I don't think we have them. Not that I can remember anyway.
And then who you guys play in second?
And we play NC State away at their field
Oh.
October 5th. So we'll see how that goes.
Okay.
They've got some big girls. They have the same players. They have these like their front row were like 3 of the biggest girls I've ever played against, and like one like literally trucked me, and I was like, cool. I was like,
Nice.
this sucked.
Thanks.
Yeah, I got completely bucked, and I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah. And then we have USC, which I'm the most excited about.
That's always
That's
a
always
fun
one
one.
game.
No, October 18th. That's a home game.
Are you gonna be playing over at the Y Beach?
I think so. It's a night game. I think all of our games, minus Virginia Tech, they're at night. So the Greenville and the USC, night games are my favorite games, especially against USC, because for some reason, night games against USC, we just come out so hard. Like, they're crazy.
Yeah, I remember last year, like the whole men's team, at least last fall, the whole men's team came out. There was like, I don't know, there must have been 30 of you, 20 or 30 of you guys.
That was also another game where that was like I remember that one really well because like the entire we got the entire squad out there just like cheering you guys
It was
on.
so much fun.
It was
I
a lot
love
of fun to
y'all out
watch
there.
that because like it's Clemson versus USC.
Yeah.
Who
Right.
doesn't want to see that? I know
Whatever
a
it
couple I had a couple friends of mine who were like, so I heard that there's a women's match going on. It's Clemson USC. It's like, yeah, like come out, dude. Just
Yeah.
Do it. We need all the
Yeah.
support we can get.
Yeah.
We
awesome.
want all the support.
yeah, we want.
Yeah.
We want support.
I mean, like again, you said you want like one of your goals is awareness. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then Greenville Grizzlies,
And the
Tim's favorite.
Grizzlies.
Yeah.
October 25th. October's a heavy month for us.
Yes.
And then Virginia Tech, November 9th.
What's that? You just made for people listening. Like Kim just made like a real weird face. What was that all
Virginia
about?
Tech,
Or
we
what's all
kinda have
Virginia
some
Tech?
beef.
Oh,
So,
it's a beef.
The beef is that they're really, really good. And I know they're gonna come out for it. They're coming. It doesn't matter how we try to be like, hey, we have new people. They don't care. They don't care at all, and they've made that very clear. And so this game, maybe for me, like I'm definitely gonna put everything on the line. I'm gonna lay someone out.
And when is that again?
November.
Oh.
Home game too.
That's almost
The last 3 are all home.
That is awesome.
Really? That's not too
That's cool.
bad.
Yeah. Well, they made it clear, and we've seen them at other tournaments, and like we're still friendly, like we're still like friendly, but like I know that like they've been wanting to play us, they've been ready to play us, and we've been like.
Would you say like they're your, I wouldn't say like least favorite team to play, but like that one like team you see on the schedule, it's like, man, like these guys, we know that they're gonna go hard.
I would say out of everyone on the schedule, they're my least, the one I look forward to the least. But I also really look forward to it because I know they play such high-level rugby that you always play up.
Right.
So you're going to play up no matter what. And so, like, with Coastal, like, I don't know where their skill level are, so, like, sometimes you play down and then sometimes you play up.
Right.
Like that Lander game we played against Lander University, and we didn't play a full 80 minutes, and we racked up 147-0 in 15s. Not even a full 80 minutes. And we also had like injuries, and we just weren't playing our best rugby. And even though we were like scoring like crazy, just because they were tired. They only had like 15 people, and we had like 40. It was crazy. But I know like Virginia Tech's gonna lay everything on the line. And even if they rack up a crazy good score, like I know the rugby we're gonna play is gonna be good. I know it's gonna be good.
And
That's
I mean,
awesome.
it's like again later on in the season, so everybody who's new has got some experience underneath the belts. You've developed everybody to play your system a little bit more, and everybody's kind of like bought in. Hopefully by then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
my biggest goal is just to be like, hey, Virginia Tech's going to be good, so we're going to be just as great.
Yeah.
That's
you
my...
gotta match them.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm nervous to play NC State, but that's just a mental thing.
Yeah,
Last game.
that's true. Fair enough. I mean, I would too. Like,
It's definitely gonna be on your mind a little bit, but.
Okay.
You shouldn't be, have that in the back of your mind. You're like, oh, I don't want to go here. I don't want to play. You should like, at least try to be like, oh, you know what? I would get a little bit of revenge on these guys.
I agree with that.
I'm gonna go the night before and patch all the holes.
Yeah.
Mow the lawn for
Bring
him.
some extra sand.
Line the field,
You guys need any help with field maintenance? I know a guy.
So let's swing this into kind of talk about women's rugby kind of as a whole growing. How is kind of recruiting for you guys? Are you guys able to find high school women trying to come play rugby, or is that kind of a difficult thing because the sport isn't quite, as popular on that side?
I would say that a big shout out to like Eric Saxon, who like does a lot of youth rugby like in Charlotte. We did Ruggerfest 2 years ago. We played against Pittsburgh, and like going there got us a lot of exposure. And a lot of high schoolers have like contacted me personally, just through like word of mouth, like knowing like Sal, like current president. And we've had a lot of international students reach out. We've had a few from Ireland, New Zealand.
Really?
That have reached out and been like, I want to go to Clemson. Yeah, for real. I'm not even kidding.
Really? But what are they like? They're just like emailing you like.
They're
this American college life seems pretty interesting.
It's interesting. So I did this the other day because I was just like looking into it, but like I googled like top rugby like women's programs, and our name actually pops up. And when I saw it, I was
Really?
like, that's suspect. I was like,
awesome.
that's cool. I was like, okay. And when I saw it, I really could not believe it. I was like, oh, it has us up there. It's got like Harvard and like Lindenwood and all them. And I was like, oh, we're up there. But definitely the exposure we've gotten over the last few years of playing like in Las Vegas and playing at CRCs for the past few years. And then we almost got the bid for nationals this year for sevens. And so like our name's getting out there, and we've had some of our own players move on to play higher level rugby, like the USA South team. We have some players at Life right now that came from our program. And so we're getting, I think the state for us personally is like getting bigger, but like as a whole, women's rugby is growing so much. Like I've seen it, especially, just UNC's own alumni, Nia Tapper. So she started playing rugby, I think, in college, and she's in our that's our division. Like we played UNC for the last 2-3 years, and she's now like the #1 scorer in USA like Eagle sevens like history. So it's like it's crazy.
I think it's like the Olympic thing. As soon as rugby became an Olympic sport, it's like, all right, I guess now we have to for at least the United States, it's like all right,
credibility.
We have to step up our game. Because we want to get those gold medals,
Well, especially too, like I feel like when I first started playing, so that's 3 years ago now, like I would say rugby and people would be like, what? But like now I've started saying it, people are like, oh, I know somebody who plays rugby. And they're not like completely under a rock about it. So I think like this podcast, like just get the word out. Like people are curious, they want to know.
Yeah, and like you're starting to see it on TV and things like that, which is, you know, you never would have thought that you'd be able to see like just rugby in general, on TV, but like
Yeah, no, I watched the MLR game, like the championship, the Seawolves and the like San Diego Legion.
Yeah.
I watched that game like on TV, and I was like, oh. Like,
yeah, that was on
okay.
CBS, and it's like, what is this?
I mean, our sevens was on ESPN3. I mean, it was covered. I think that is so cool that's an opportunity for rugby players now. Like you said, the sport is definitely growing, you know, at an exponential rate, I think, at this point.
I think it's going to just be big, like, for current players especially, to keep that going. Because youth rugby, you don't see it as much. And I know our own coach, like Marty, he had a youth team that went and played in Charlotte. Because Charlotte is definitely a great place for rugby.
Yeah.
And so just, like, fostering that like mentality that rugby can be played like at any time with anyone like really helps. So encouraging kids and like youth teams and even like high school teams, because I did not know what rugby was until I literally started playing it.
Me too.
No idea. And so I think just like again the awareness, getting it out there and be like, hey, this is a sport you can play and it's not as scary as everyone thinks it is. Because people always say like, oh, you got to be tough. Like I know you get hurt. Like I know that sucks. I'm like, actually, like it's great. Like I don't know what else I would do with my time.
Right. I do not know what else I would do with my time if I wasn't here doing this podcast with you guys because of rugby. So I think that's awesome.
Yeah. Again, like we kind of said it earlier. It's like once like with Marie, you know, when you said like, oh, when you after the injury, you're like, do I really want to get back into it? And then you like you get like a little taste, and it's like, all right, I gotta get back. Like, and then a lot of people like. Again, with this podcast, it's like you buy into the rugby idea, and
well, like we were talking about the family. Like once you like hear about it, and like even if you play or like know somebody, like they're like so close. Like all the players on their teams. I don't know. Yeah. And then the ability to go and like afterwards go out with the people that you just played against. Like that's such a unique thing too. Like when I realized that people did that, I was like, wait, you're gonna go hang out with the people you just played against.
Right. After you play a game, you are too tired to hate the other person. You just want to go. You just want to go have a beer and a pizza.
I remember back when I was like first playing in middle school and like early high school, back in England, they like after a match, you know, they'd always have afternoon tea. Like one of the most English things that you could do, you know, it's like you have afternoon tea with the other team, and it's like like growing up playing, you know, football, and like you literally hate the other team on and off the field, but then again you have that opportunity to go hang out with them afterward, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah. That's my favorite, like, tradition kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, afterwards, you hang out at the field, like, you go up to each other, and you're like, hey, what's the move? Like, where are we going? Like, what are we doing? Even, especially if the game was, like, close, and then you talk about it with them, too. You're like, yeah, like, that one tackle, like, when you cleared me out, that was awesome. Like, it's so funny. It's some of my favorite things to ever do.
Yeah, again, like, with our field, like, with the pool right there, it's like, that's perfect, you know, especially when it's a little warmer. It's like,
in the hot tub.
Everybody, let's just jump in the hot tub.
Nasty as hot tub.
Yeah, and I mean, once you get to know the person, like you know them, you see them as like a human, and then you don't need pads. Like you have that respect.
Right, you're not trying to hurt somebody out there, so you don't need pads. So, and one thing that people who don't play rugby, I think, always know too is people always come up to me and they're like, you play rugby? Like, how do you guys go hang out with the team afterwards after you guys just played them? Like, that's something a lot of people who don't play rugby know that happens. So again, that's very interesting.
Like I always say, rugby is like the biggest co-ed fraternity in the world, you know?
I literally say that all the time. When we did Tiger Proud, there was a lot of like, sororities and stuff going on. They were walking by. I was like, don't go to sororities. Come join our frat. I'm like, we are basically a frat.
Yeah.
But it's really funny.
Because, I mean, it's like a discount fraternity or sorority.
You don't pay as much.
Yeah, you don't have to pay as much. And you get to play rugby. I mean, like,
way better friends.
Way better.
Yeah, I think like you definitely make friends, especially at the bottom of a rock. You know,
Oh, you make
you make the
bonds
best
putting your
friends at the
head
bottom
between
of a
two
rock.
people's thighs. Like you can't not have respect for that person after that, or be friends with that guy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, when you can't like as a front row, you have to have like some
Right.
kind of like friendship with the
Right, you
lock
have to
that's
shower.
reaching right straight through your legs, and
Always.
Yeah,
that's
so
the
much
weird part,
fun.
too. Like I played in Can-Ams, and I just poured out. Like I played with a bunch of random teams, and like
Yeah.
it's always different with each person that you prop for or you lock for. Because like when you have to like, you just like kind of look at them and they know. I mean they know. Like they're like, all right, yeah, you're gonna have to like wrap around their leg. And I always do like the leg wraps too because my arm's like very like long enough I can like really do it. But there's like a special bond between a lock and a prop, I would say. There has to be. There has to be. Or else it's not right.
there's a special bond between a lock and a prop, like Dawsey and your hair.
Yeah, the hair. The hair can't go, unfortunately.
So, I guess we'll have to wrap it up. All right.
Yeah, we'll wrap
So
it there.
again, appreciate everything, listeners. Again, I'd like to say thanks to Tiger Vision. We got Ryan Sweeney back there. You know, big shout out to him.
Yeah, Ryan's the man.
Ryan's the god. You know. So thanks again, guys, and tune in next week where we will be doing a little World Cup, pre-World Cup talk show.
Little debate.
little debates, lots of hot takes.
Yeah.
So I think that one's going to
That
be
one's gonna be fun.
excited to I'd be excited to listen to that. Like, it's going to be a good one. So appreciate it, and have a nice day.